Welcome back. My name is Carol, and I've been doing VEDA video every day in August with 30 days of scrapbooking projects. I'm trying to finally get a handle on my scrapbooking room and the really decades of unfinished projects that I have. And I've been all the way back in 2006, 2009, and today we kind of jump ahead quite a bit. This is my 2016 Project Life album, and I'm going to show you where I am in progress with this album. And then the goal is that I will go back. It has not happened yet so far this month. We're only, what, 9-10 days in? But the goal is that I will go back and finish these projects and then do a flip through of the finished product. Now, I have realized in doing this that I'm significantly farther behind than I thought. I was thinking that I had a bunch of albums that just had final details that I had at some point abandoned, and I just need to go back and do these final finished details. Hi, Callie. Dogs want to be a part of everything. That I just had to do these final finished details, and as I do these flip throughs, they're actually valuable to me in that I'm seeing that it's way more than that. So in no way will I be able to finish all these albums this month, but I'll get a handle on where I'm at and what I need to do, and I'll finish a few things hopefully and show those to you, and then I can kind of continue on with my progress as we head into winter. So doing the project, the video every day, is valuable to me, even though I am in no way going to be able to accomplish what I originally thought. So sitting on the shelf, I just pulled this off of the shelf exactly as it has sat for I don't even know how long, is a pile of Christmas supplies, because I have been trying to kind of chip away at some of these projects. And at one point I did a whole Christmas album for a year that I just had an insane amount of Christmas photos. And then I had purchased and pulled together a whole bunch of Christmas supplies. So then before I put those supplies back, I was trying to finish up the Christmas portion of any unfinished albums. So we'll see how far I actually got in that, but I still have this pile of Christmas supplies sitting here at the beginning of this one. And then I have a few other things. Okay, so I have this pile of things that I'm really not sure exactly what they were for. I'm thinking probably they're things that I acquired when the last time I was working on this album. But I do have, this was at one point in time, this is kind of funny. I did a kind of a booktube channel on YouTube, which was really fun to do. I've made all the videos private because they were just kind of cheesy, but it was really fun to do. I don't regret it at all. And then I have this goat. I printed this out. It's actually a really high quality picture considering. I printed this out off the web. This is a blind goat that has all kinds of special needs that went to some kind of sanctuary. And the only thing that would make him calm was wearing this costume. And he has this stuffed animal, and he would have to go with his now owner to like the grocery store in this costume with his diaper. And I just thought it was the kind of the funniest, cutest thing ever. So anyway, I have some other random things there and Christmas supplies. Okay, let's get into the actual album. So I'll have to make a title page. I'm not really sure why I have these things like this, but I had this, which I really liked and I thought would be good for a title page. And then I have, okay, so this, in 2015, I wanted to send out Christmas cards and never got around to it. So I decided to do Happy New Year's cards, and that actually worked out great. I loved these cards. I might do that again. And it'll make a very nice title page. So that's that. And then, so this one, it looks like I went through the album and tried to put things in chronologically and maybe put them in page protectors according to an event or a week if I knew a certain group of pictures was taken in a particular week. But they're really not organized according to what would make a spread at all. So that's a lot of what I have to do, is go back through and figure out, okay, how am I going to make that into a Project Life spread or somehow make it cohesive, because it was not done. I think, which one did I do? Maybe it was my 2015 album that I did show you. That one, during that year, I think that was the first year maybe that I did Project Life, and I actually did it the way it was intended. I took pictures each week. I had a title card. I thought about kind of how they were going to go together as I was taking those pictures. And this year, that was not the case. Although I kind of want to say I did know that eventually I would do a Project Life scrapbook. And so I did kind of think in terms of, well, you'll see I made a whole bunch of collages. I was really into the collage thing. But anyway, these are just, yeah, so I'm not really gonna point out what all the pictures are necessarily, because when I go back through and show you a cohesive scrapbook, that's what I'll show you. But I will show you some of the tools that I use. So some things I just put aside. This is just in a page protector. I think this is all Valentine's Day. I did have an app, I wanna say it's called Pic Stitch, that I was very into that year. I used it to put borders on a lot of things, to write on things, to use filters, and to make these little collages, which you'll see. And I was following a lot of other scrapbookers that did that, and I'm not necessarily super thrilled with it, but it kind of is what it is. And I did put, when I printed things out, I think I did try to kind of print as I went throughout the year. And because I had realized at this point that I had a lot of albums. This is kind of coming off of, I think I showed you my 2008 album the other day, and I worked on that in 2011, 12. So this is kind of coming on the heels of that. I realized the error of not printing pictures out and just kind of thinking like, oh yeah, I'll get to that when I'm ready to scrapbook that album. And instead I was kind of trying to think the opposite of, you need to print pictures out as you go. You need to make sure that you've got your pictures of things. But I did try to put things in different sizes and stuff because I knew I wanted to do some different things. At that exact time, I probably had an idea of exactly what I wanted to do, and I don't remember that now. Anyway, this is the first of some of those collages from Pic Stitch. And you could do a variety of different things, but, well, here's a couple. And the thing is, it is a way to get a lot of pictures. I think I was thinking if I did weekly spreads that, you know, you can get all the pictures from an event in one 4x4 pocket instead of trying to figure out like, okay, I need to make a layout for these pictures. I need to make a layout for these pictures. Also, that 2015 album, if you remember, was huge. And I definitely, although I love that album and I love that I have it, I was thinking in terms of, okay, I need to cut way back. So, but you can see the pictures are so little and they're just really not very good. And I kind of remember that about other people's too, when they would have all these, I mean, some people, it was just like collage after collage after collage. And I just kind of thought to myself, okay, so you've chronicled your, you know, your events or documented your life, but how quality is that? And maybe I should have thought it to myself a little bit better. But these are actually just kind of mixed in. It's definitely not everything. So, oh, and then, so I do have, okay, so this is important. Here it says spring. This was something that I did. I guess I tried to be kind of crafty with my title cards, especially since I didn't necessarily say like, okay, this week I'm taking these pictures and that's going to be a 2-page spread. That isn't really the way I was doing it. So we had this giant chalkboard and I had my daughter draw these different things for each season. And I think starting out, we started in winter, but I'm not sure if I had one. I think I have one later for winter, but here's the spring one. So that was kind of my gimmick for title cards for this year, I guess. Okay, and then I don't really know why. Oh, okay. So for some reason I was thinking, oh, I guess because I have these vertical pictures, and I turned them sideways because they would have to be cut to go into this page protector because it's not quite a 4x6. And I think I wasn't sure yet if I wanted to cut them. So But you can see I have a couple more, and this is the long ones, which, I mean, I don't know. Anyway, and then, for example, I have this one for the egg hunt, and it's okay. I mean, if you wanted to send out, say, a postcard to people and you have these little pictures and a title, like, that's fine, but everything is just so tiny, it's hard to really see any kind of detail. So, okay, so I continue on, and then I have some more. These were stickers that I bought for that Christmas project. And then I have, this is in the spring, but it was Mount Hood, so a lot of years they have snow all the way through April, which is kind of nice. And so I was going to use some of these for the snow pictures. And then I did that. So for the snow pictures, I can kind of understand, because it's a lot of basically the exact same thing. And this is so many pictures. Although that one's a bigger 4x4. And you can see that if I had made this small, it just would have been a mush. You wouldn't have really been able to see anything. But at least being 4x4 by itself, it's all right. But like these ones, it's kind of 4 of the same picture. Another thought would be just pick the best one and make that one bigger. But that's what I did on this particular year. Whoops. Oh, and then I guess I was thinking about, because this is a bunch of 2x2 squares, and so I think I was thinking about cutting a lot of those up and putting them in the squares and having a whole page of 2x2 pictures, which would be kind of cool. I might do that still. So then, yeah, it's kind of a mismatch of, in some places I put the pictures in a protector, but then, whoops. I don't want to lose my organization. I will say that. At some point in time, I spent a bunch of time getting this all organized. Here I have just a page protector. I think it's because it's a bunch of cards and memorabilia. So I just put it in a page protector. Some of them are really close. Like this one, I just have to do a title card and a journaling card. That's actually a lot of these. I just have to do that. That's funny because, hey, this one's basically done. The album that I flipped through yesterday, the same thing happened. The first half of it was just this mismatch, and then I got to the point where, and so then when I got towards the end, it was actually, a lot of them were pretty close to being done, which is interesting. So then this is going to be a layout and more memorabilia. And I may decide with things like this memorabilia to just not keep it all. I have a tendency throughout the year to keep a ton of stuff, and then the reality is that when I go back and look at projects years later, I really don't need all this stuff. Some of it's kind of nice. Sometimes things like, well, I don't really want to pull this out because I don't know what information it's got on it, but this is a, what would you call it? Like, not exactly a brochure, but like a weekly thing from an organization that we're a part of. And sometimes it is interesting to look back years later and see things like what graphics they were using or what type of events they were having, or who, you know, if there are pictures of people or people's names, knowing who was on staff or something, that can be interesting. But also I would say one a year is probably plenty. Definitely not. Some people try to keep stuff like that, like everyone from every week. Okay. So, and then we have some vertical pictures, which I never love these ones, but maybe I can try to make a decent page out of that. I will show these cards. I have someone that makes these cards for me, and they're really great. I actually might go through and frame some of them, and I don't know how well you can, they're actually kind of three-dimensional. They're really nice. So, fireworks, which these pictures are not great, and you know, for a non-professional, firework pictures are never going to turn out great, but this was my experience. So, oh, and then this was our parade I live in a small, this is not the small town I currently live in, but I tend to live in one small town after another. Small towns love their parades. And so I will say that that is something that this collage thing is kind of good for, because in reality, you don't need pictures of every float in the parade, but this is kind of a nice way to be able to keep all of them, but yet it doesn't take up a ton of space. So some more that basically, so these ones all need all of the filler. There's pretty much no filler in this. So I must have at some point gone through to get it organized, but didn't do any real title cards or journaling cards or any of that type of thing. So more memorabilia. Crater Lake. In some ways I would love to make a separate album for Crater Lake, but I didn't actually take that many pictures because I thought, you know, my pictures are not gonna look anything like what you could see any day of the week on a website or something like that. So I tried to kind of focus on just pictures of us or our experience. So, and then I'm not really sure why those ones are out. Oh, and then so there's that fall one. There must be a summer one somewhere. It must be sitting in one of these pages. Dress Creek Falls is pretty awesome if you ever have a chance to go there. I guess we did a lot of outdoor things this year. And then this was actually pretty cool. So I only see one picture here, so I'm gonna have to, this is something that I know we took way more pictures, so I'm gonna have to go back and see if I can find them. But we went to Halloween Town it's in Washington, I wanna say. It's up near Mount St. Helens, so maybe it's in St. Helens, Oregon, but I'm not sure. But it was a very, very, very cool event. I was crazy crowded, which kind of takes away from the experience, and my daughter doesn't look happy at all, but she was actually. So I need to find those pictures and actually make some layouts from that, because that was really neat. Oh, and I cut it did say Halloween Town up there. I can't believe I cut that out. I have to find a picture that has that on there. That's the whole point of it. But I don't know that we'll ever necessarily go back. It was pretty expensive for what it was. And like I said, it was super crowded, but it was a great experience. And I also have a video. And so I will make a QR code for that video and add it to the layout too. So, and I know I have at least some more pictures, but because we were taking a video and we knew we were going to make a video, I may not have taken a ton of pictures. So. Halloween cards. Evidently my family likes Halloween. So we'll have to see how I do this one. This was something that I watched a lot of YouTubers do, and I loved their pages, but it never seems to work out that well for me. So these are 4x4 squares, and they would make almost kind of a mini layout of some sort in each square. And theirs always seem to turn out great, but I don't know. I've done a few. You'll kind of see here coming up, and they didn't turn out so great. So here I have this one, which needs just a title card basically. And then these ones, here's my chalk sign for Christmas. And I was thinking, I have a couple pages of this. I was thinking maybe if I matte the pictures in white and then have a journaling card the same, that might make it look a little better. Same with this other side over here. And then these ones actually, I did begin to put in a little bit of filler, but I haven't written anything or done any titles or anything like that. So I had those Christmas supplies. We started out with the Christmas supplies, and I guess I've added in some paper here, but that's all that I added in from that. So, and then I think this might be one of the first peekaboo pockets that I ever used, because I have like 4 of the same photo. Our wrapping paper for the year, which was Star Wars, and my son's list, which I like to always keep well, I like to always keep my kids' lists, but for some reason, I don't have my daughter's from most years. And so I'm wondering if she was maybe keeping hers, because I know she did them as well, and I don't know why I would have kept his and not hers. So maybe she was keeping hers in her own album. I'm not sure. So thanks for watching, and I don't know, maybe with this one, it's such a project. Maybe I'll even make another in progress album where I've done a lot of things, but it's not 100% done. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you later in the week.